It's 3:45 in the morning, July 22nd, July 22nd, and day 15 of my fast, and it's all humid and I was all itchy because I've had allergies all my life to certain things. I don't know, pollen. And yeah, these are pollens, you know. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. From the oak trees. I ain't gonna cut down my oak trees. Anyway, even if I did, it wouldn't do any better. It wouldn't be any better. My grandma told me she had all kinds of beautiful shrubbery around her house. Her and my grandpa's house in Valparaiso. The flowers and everything. She said it was real pretty, but she couldn't live with it. She had to cut it all down. Had to get rid of it all. Her allergies couldn't take it. But it was pretty, she said. Anyway, so, you know, I hope to go back to sleep if I can after I do this little annotation in my journal here. But the thing is, I had another one of them dreams, you know, like being lost. You know, I got on this bus. This is a big city. Kind of reminded me of Richmond. Although Richmond don't seem to be that big. Not like that. Maybe Richmond in 100 years. That never could be that. And it's a bigger city with a bus system that seemed to go central through it seemed to me like I was going from heading towards St. Petersburg from Richmond, Virginia, except it was all built up. That's what it seemed like to me. But I really wasn't sure where I was going. I got on this bus just to get out of the bus terminal because it was closing down and going empty. I just got on a bus. It was like a bus that goes through the air, kind of. And it had went down with a big drop. It wasn't like a bus like you ride through the city in a bus with, you know, tires. It wasn't like that. But anyway, I had no idea where I was going. I don't even know if I had a destination that I was even supposed to go to. As I was alone, as I usually am in my dreams, and lost was another motif in my dreams. Kind of like Bob Dylan's song, "No Direction Home." Or I know I used to have a DVD, like a documentary about him called "No Direction Home." It comes from one of his songs. And anyway, you know, just a feeling of loss and emptiness. That's a pervading kind of. If there's a cloud hanging over my head, well, there's one cloud called emptiness, and there's another cloud called lost. Lost and empty. And itchy. But since I'm talking about lost, empty, and itchy, that also reminds me of this Egyptian thing of the 3 words. It kind of really is a summation in my thinking for life. And it's Egyptian, not lore, but Egyptian science maybe, or something. Maybe alchemy, you know. But alchemy is just more than like perfume. Anyway, it's Ka-Ba and Ak. Ka-Ba and Ak. 3 words. Ka, Ba, and Ak. Okay, Ka is the energy in this life that we have. Okay, Ba is the like it's life in your dreams. They actually had a word for this. Okay, and it's called Ba, and that's the life of your dreams that you go to when you dream. That's Ba. And Ak is there's Ak again. I have to relook it up because I just kind of like remembered it, you know, like, and actually I remembered it when I was waking up for some reason. And that was associated with having a cat by the tail, which I was also thinking about. But I think Ak is something like the integration of the two or something. I don't know. Then it's the Egyptian stuff though, from Egypt. Ka, Ba, and Ak. I have to look that back up again. Try to revisit that in my thinking. But you know. Anyway, that's just correlation with it was itchy and whatever the heck else I was thinking about. Had three things. Oh, the clouds. If there's like clouds above my head, being itchy, and whatever the other one was. That's not really what I want to talk about though. I had that dream. And then when I was waking up, you know, and this song comes in my mind a lot too. I finally looked it up, okay? And then now I know what it comes from. Because I had to do a search on in YouTube, you know, and Better Life for Me and You. And that's what I was thinking. And there's a certain song, I knew it had the stanza like in it, find a better life for me and you. And it would be nice to find a better life for me and you, okay? I got that. Because most of the time, you know, everybody gets the blues. That's Kenny Wayne Shepherd's song, you know? Everybody gets the blues. I like to talk people up, you know? Like yesterday I talked Karen up. You know, I like to, you know, Adrian, you know. I guess I haven't talked her up too much. But, you know, I just talk about things as they come up. I mean, I ain't got no agenda here, so, you know, your time will come. All right. If okay, like maybe I could like, you know, do a little talking about Bryson. Bryson spent some time with me. I could talk him up. Say what a great genius and inventor he's gonna be, because I already see what he can do. Or Adelaide, I don't know. You know, I had my impressions. But see, my other grandchildren and stuff, I don't really know. I had a brief little time, and went to visit my daughter once in Oregon. I remember her two boys, they going outside and taking care of business in the front yard, doing something. It was important, you know. But look, we all got our lives, and you know, I like to shine the light on people and say how great they are. It makes me actually feel good, because it makes me happy, because I don't know, I like people. You know, I mean, all right, well, like, I'm not having many people come to my house anymore much. I don't want nobody coming to my house because I don't really trust people. I have a distant recollection that I used to like people. All right. Anyway, that's a complicated story there. Talk about people. But anyway, you know, we all get the blues. Documenting for myself, you know, makes me feel better. So I actually know, you know, like, I'm not any different than anybody else. Nobody else is any different than me, really, when it comes down to it. And I'm going to tell you, like, even Leonardo da Vinci, okay, a great inventor and relative genius, especially for his time, you know. Look, he even drew the helicopters and airplanes, even before. I'm talking about like he's back there during the Roman times. Man. Plus, he's the one that with the arms going out, you know. He figured all that stuff out about, you know, your arms going out that way are the same distance from your head to your feet going that way. And that one, there's a secret number named pi. I think it's called pi. And that's what they named that platform for making stuff. Like, you know, secret spy stuff and everything. That's pi. That's what I want to learn is pi. But anyway, pi is a special number. And like it divides and multiplies into like, you know, many things that are found like in nature and everything. They have this certain mathematical situation, and it's all like about that, and it's a big deal, all right, and a big discovery, and Leonardo da Vinci made that discovery, all right. And at the end of his life, he wasn't satisfied. He felt ashamed. He said, you know, I'm ashamed as I stand before God and man that I didn't really complete everything I was supposed to. I didn't really work as hard as I should have, you know, or whatever. He didn't achieve what he thought he really needed to achieve or something like that, you know. He felt kind of bad. And that's Leonardo da Vinci. And Sir Isaac Newton the same way. He said that he felt like a little, when he was on his deathbed, he said he felt like a little kid at the beach playing with a few shells out of a whole ocean full of shells. And he's just playing with a few of them. And that's what he felt like. He said he felt like a little kid playing with a few shells. It's a sense of insignificance. And Rambo, remember him, you know. Anyway, it's Sylvester Stallone's whole story. Well, you know, and Rambo was like, you know, he brought out that concept of being dispensable. And that's one of the big lessons I learned in my life, is how unimportant I am, how dispensable I am. Like, I mean, you know, seems like, you know, God or life kind of really rubbed that into me. Not important at all. All right, I know that. And nobody got to prove me. And nobody can prove to me otherwise. And nobody got to prove to me that it's true. Okay. You ain't got to prove it either way. But you see, I put myself on par with everybody else. Because, look, man, everybody puts on their clothes the same way. I mean, I already said that, you know. Even the President of the United States. Well, you know, I mentioned my preacher when I was younger. You know, his name was H.R. Bernard, Brother Bernard. And he was a preacher out in Branchboro, Assemblies of God out near Zephyr Hills, a little bit out, not very far. And you know, he had this guy at the church that was speaking and preaching. You know, he's preaching like every Sunday night for a while, because he came to the church. You know, I don't know, he might have been a minister somewhere else or something, but he was dying, and he had cancer. You know, it was only going to be a matter of time. You know, he had a death sentence hanging over his head, and he knew he was going to die. He was facing death. And so when you're facing death, I kind of respect that about Reverend Bernard, you know, because Reverend Bernard was a good speaker. I mean, he's a good preacher. Well, in my opinion, I don't care who I've ever seen in my life. I don't care if it's Jimmy Swaggart or anybody, Billy Graham, anybody. I never heard anybody that impressed me more than an H.R. Bernard. he spent a lot of time. He didn't know how to speak Yiddish. He spent a lot of time with the Jews. That's where he learned from, the Jewish guy. That's where he got his religion from. He was German though, Bernard. That's German. But I don't know if he was Jewish or not. I don't really think he was, but he spent a lot of time with the Jews. But anyway, he let this guy preach, and because he was dying, and so if a person is dying, I mean, in my opinion, and in Brother Bernard's opinion, obviously, you respect the words of a dying man. I mean, you come down to the wire, like in Tweeter and the Monkey Man, go down to the wire. You come down to the wire. I mean, that's where you're thinking about the stuff that's actually real, is when you're dying. It's like in Jacob the Baker, a guy, in that last chapter about the ashes. The guy, Mr. Gold, asks Jacob, or he tells Jacob, hey, you're wise and I'm old. You know who I am, Jacob? I'm a dying man. Yeah. Is this all there is? He's saying. Well, you know the story. I'm not going to repeat it. I hope you do. If you don't read it, you should. And so he remember this. I remember one talk he was given. I can't remember. I mean, he talked a lot, but every Sunday night for a while until he died. And the talk I remember was, him talking about having the cat by the tail. Thinking, you got the cat by the tail, in life. And he drew upon, I don't know, I think one of the Psalms is what he was taking his talk from, but he was using the analogy of having the cat by the tail. And, you might think that's like you might think you got the cat under control, but it's a wild cat. And that's like life. Right? In life, and that was what the analogy was. In life, you think you got the cat by the tail, but you find out that it's a wild cat. Well, I don't know. I suppose there's been times I might have felt a little bit like I had a cat by the tail or had things under control, but not most of my life. Most of my life, I've been searching, and that's a thing. And I was talking a bit ago about the principle of indirection that I learned from my chaplain, and I also learned in Kabbalah. And then this morning I remember the guy's name from the Holocaust. His name is Viktor Frankl. See, I was thinking Friedrich, but that's only because they both start with F. His name is Victor. And see, Victor is kind of synchronistic for me because, I've been talking about the Valley of Love, and right there is the V. I don't know. It's just sometimes, letters and stuff. And that's how they tell you how your memory, it can even work. Like, if you have to remember something, try to put other things that you can remember to it. Like, I can remember love because of a V, Like, if I was learning English and I didn't know English, maybe I was coming from another kind of language that wasn't like our language is like, they come from like if you go back with the languages, they go back to like certain major groups, and then out of those a major group of language, then it goes dividing down into like a tree, and it splits off, like some languages are kind of similar to other languages. I don't know, it's been a long time to study this stuff, but maybe one is like the Romantic languages, I don't know, maybe Spanish and French, maybe they're Romantic languages. I don't really know. Latin and Greek, they might be different kind of language. Anyway, I don't remember all this stuff, but I mean, I used to know it, but don't remember it all. And anyway, so I really need to quit getting sidetracked because I lose my train of thought. But yeah, I'm gonna put this on real quick. This is the tail end. This is from the animals. We got to get out of this place, and this is really. I thought we got to get out of this place. I thought this was really about Vietnam. You know, we got to get out of this place. You know, our soldiers and everything. You know, over there in Vietnam, and you know, dying and getting killed. Getting ambushed, all that kind of stuff, man. Dying, man. Masters of war. Put the young boys out there to die. Stupid. After they killed Kennedy. I'm telling you, man, we got severe problems in our system, and that is evident if you look at our history. Anyway, this is from the animals, and we got to get out of this place. But the part that was ringing in my head, and has been doing it for a while, I find a better life for me and you.
I know we gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do, we gotta get out of this place. Girl, it's a better life for me and you. Believe me, baby, I know it, baby.
All right. That's it. That's the way I feel a lot of times. We gotta get out of this place, man. Find a better life for me and you. But I was really listening to the Buddha a lot last night, you know. Like when I was sleeping, I was playing, but I couldn't really sleep because it was so itchy and it was so hot. And it was so humid. But the Buddha was, as I was listening to his dissertations, you know, his talks to the monks, that you know, like, you know, he came to the point. I think they call him Buddha because he was under a Buddha tree or something like that. That's where he had one of his major revelations. But you know, before he was under that tree and stuff like that, you know, he was emaciated. I mean, he wasn't eating any food, and you know, and he was being kicked and stuff like that by some kids, kicked and mocked and made fun of. Like, you know, kids can be mean sometimes, you know, for some reason. I don't know why, but it happens. And so, but he didn't feel any kind of hatred or any kind of anger or anything. He didn't feel any of those feelings anymore. Okay? I don't know. Through the process of suffering, and that was what his whole thing was, is, you know, the human condition is the human condition of suffering. Okay? And how do you address it, you know? And like, you know, I mean, even like hunger and love. I mean, well, somehow in the Buddha, in his experience, you know, and he teaches, and other people will come to this, it's like a self-emptying, like, so you don't actually, you know, feel certain feelings anymore. It's just like right now, like well, I mean, I get hungry, my stomach churns and everything still, but I mean, sometimes I think, man, I could just forget about eating. I haven't eaten in such a long time. And like, I don't have to eat no more. Anyway, I'm not really losing that much weight, so I guess I'm just a free floater. I might just forget about it, just like the Italians say, forget about it. Hey? Yeah, forget about it. One time a guy owed me a lot of money. I had him managing one of my, you know, when I got out of the Navy, you know, got a house on the GI Bill. I was renting it out, and he was collecting the rent for me. He kept the rent money. He told me I need to forget about it. I said, bullshit. I ain't forgetting about it. Well, yeah, he never paid me back. I never forgot about it though. But the thing is, you know, sometimes in life, you know, you can forget about it. You might be angry, you can forget about it. You might be sad, you can forget about it. But the thing about Viktor Frankl is, though, when it comes to happiness, see, he said, and this is a furtherance of the concept of indirection, the principle of indirection, and that is that happiness is a byproduct. Viktor Frankl is saying, and he's a Holocaust survivor, okay? He's saying that if you pursue happiness, it's going to escape you. It's going to evade you. It's going to elude you. Elude. It's going to elude you. It's going to escape you. If you're pursuing happiness, you're going to get it. You're going to catch it. Like having the cat by the tail. You think you got it, but you don't. All right, it's a wild cat. And it comes as a byproduct. You experience happiness here and there as a byproduct to other things. And that's why I like the book of Ecclesiastes, because it's kind of middle of the road, you know. It can keep you balanced, like, because that's what it does for me anyway. You know, like, you can get happiness from the work of your hands. When you do a good job, you can feel happy. You know? When you're lost and then you make a discovery and find a place for yourself, well, you're gonna be happy for a bit, you know. But God don't give us continued happiness like every day. No matter how great the person, like, okay, I know I talked up big about Karen, you know, Isaac's mom, but you know, she had to have major surgery in her life, and I'm sure it was devastating. All right. I know my Adam and Amber's mom, she had a bout with cancer, I believe. I remember she was very concerned about it. That's when I used to be on Facebook a little bit, but you know, I don't know what's going on anymore because I'm not on it, but it's not a priority for me now at this point. I mean, look, I hardly have enough time to practice my guitar. And I haven't really been practicing too much because, first of all, you know, I started getting weak from not eating, and then, I don't know, I gave myself a break. I'm going to get back to it, though. Hopefully today. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like you got to get out of this place, you know, and find a better life. But it's a never-ending search, you know. And from my perspective, a lot of times I see other people, like on the bus, I see everybody else is with company, you know, who's sitting next to somebody or something, you know, even if they're not talking. I mean, they're with somebody. Me, I'm all by myself. That's the way I am in my dream. And it's kind of cloud that hangs over my head, you know, being by myself. I don't know, I've met a lot by myself. I definitely understand that in the final analysis, we are all alone. And I don't even got to go to the final analysis before I can figure out that I'm all alone. I'm all alone right now, you know. And I'm kind of happy for it. I got nobody bothering me. You know, there's advantages to be alone because I trust myself. I do trust myself more than anybody else. I trust myself to do the things that I know that I can do, and the things that I know that are the best. Well, you know, the truth of solidarity and camaraderie can never be underestimated or under talked about. All right, two are better than one. If you have somebody in your life to share your life with, cherish it, love it. All right, love that person. You never know what you had until you lose it. Life is sad, man. People die. Cherish the times you got. Look, when I used to go kayaking every day after work, you know, I used to go with Tony, a buddy of mine. We used to do the shuttle and everything, going down the James River. He taught me the river. I mean, Tim introduced me to kayaking, but Tony actually, I kayak with Tony every day. And I told him on more than one occasion, I told him, man, I know these are the best days of my life right now. I told him more than once. I said, man, because, look, I'm on the water after a hard day's work. Water was just the right temperature splashing on me, and the river fluctuates. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, certain seasons and everything, you know. And you meet the challenges. Okay, I mean, it's not all pleasure. Sometimes it's cold. Sometimes it was cold. Sometimes it was high, man. I mean, I broke my nose on the river. I flipped over, and when I learned my role, and I said, man, no sooner than I said to myself, I got this, like I'm ready to punch myself back up, I'm gonna give it a good heck of a try, I'm gonna get up, you know. No, what I did, I face planted my face right against a rock underwater, busted my nose. But I'm just saying, those are the best days of my life. I knew it at the time. I said it. All right. I wish I could go back there and relive it, but you know, now I got other things to take care of. I don't know, man. Life goes on. Jackie Benson. Slow Train a Comin'. That was Bob Dylan's song. Slow Train Comin'. And you know, I'm on that train going somewhere. Okay, look, I know it's 33 minutes, but it just reminded me of the blue whale. See, I had a dream one time. And I dreamed that somebody else took over my property here, you know, and they built up a lot of stuff out here and everything like that, you know. Coming into the property or something, and I was giving this guy a hand moving something, you know, and I slipped down a hill. I was helping him carry something. And he slipped down a hill. When I slipped down the hill, I slipped right into this, like, the paddy wagon kind of deal, like a stagecoach kind of thing, you know, and there were other people in there. It was kind of like a jail, you know. And I asked the guy, I said, you know, because everything, like, I knew, man, my property and everything. I didn't really know what happened, but, you know, somebody else had my property and stuff. And I said, you know, I said to the guy, I said, you know, I said, this other guy was in the paddy wagon, you know. I said, who's responsible for all this, you know? And he said to me, the blue whale. And then I realized, oh, the blue whale. See, the blue whale is God. So, God is actually a blue whale, managing everything from down in the ocean. Yeah. Check that idea out, eh? The blue whale. All right, well, I'm gonna call this one the blue whale because see, I'll leave it at something kind of intriguing because, life is like that. It's hard to figure out sometimes. A lot of times, you feel alone, and we are alone. And now I can hear the train coming, sounding the horn, talking about the blue whale. Look, I got a blue shirt on too. All right. Cheers.